सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. We have completed the 17th chapter. The 16th and 17th chapters, Lord Krishna discussed values. In the 16th chapter, Daivi Sampat, Lord Krishna pointed out in the name of Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga. Values, the title Bhagavan gave was Daivi Sampat. Daivi Sampat. In the 17th chapter, Lord Krishna said Sattva Nishtha. Sattva Nishtha means one has to travel from Tamo Guna to Rajo Guna to Sattva Guna. So there Daivi Sampat in the 16th chapter, Sattvika Nishtha or Sattva Nishtha or developing Sattvic nature are synonyms. When you have Sattva Guna predominantly, naturally Daivi Sampat will take place. So, Lord Krishna has pointed out in the previous 2 chapters. These values one has to implement. For what purpose? What is the prayojanam by following these values? Prayojanam is apekshika sukham, relative happiness. One can get relative happiness. Relative happiness in Sanskrit we call it as apekshika sukham. These values are very, very important, extremely important in one's life. Values, they are, Bhagavan mentioned, amanitvam, adambhitvam, ahimsa, kshanti, arjavam, etc., etc. They have to soak into one's own personality. One's own personality they have to soak. Like in Urugai, the salt, just as it soaks, no? Similarly, values has to be soaked in one's own physical personality, mental personality, intellectual personality. They have to become part and parcel of one's own personality. They are very, very important. Even to get that ihaloka sukham. Apekshika sukham, apekshika shanti means what? Even to get ihaloka sukham. For jnana prapyartham also, to get knowledge. First one is relative sukham. Second point, why one has to follow values in prayojanam is to get atma jnanam. Atma jnana prapyartham, values to be imbibed into one's own personality. Jnana prapyartham. Atma jnana prapyartham. Not only that, not only atma jnanam, third benefit is jnana nishtha prapyartham. One can assimilate that teaching, what she or he received from the teacher. That teaching can be assimilated only after imbibing the values into one's personality. Without assimilating the values, Vedantic teaching cannot be assimilated. Without assimilating values first, without implementing values into one's life, one cannot assimilate the Vedantic teaching. Therefore, For these three benefits, one has to imbibe the values. Next point is, if it is relative sukham, what is that absolute sukham? That is atyantika sukham, one can attain by following values. Absolute happiness, absolute sukham. Absolute peace or happiness one can attain only through knowledge. Assimilated knowledge alone gives absolute peace. That is called atyantika sukham, which sukham can never be disturbed. This apekshika sukham will be disturbed. Apekshika sukham will come and go, but atyantika sukham will never be disturbed. That is atyantika sukham. In the last class, while I was giving summary of the 17th chapter, I have pointed out that 5 methods to develop, how to build up these values. Some students were asking, it was not more clear, we want to listen more elaborately. Therefore, I would like to give some more important points in that, and then we'll go to the 18th chapter. Since it is very important, we have to see those 5 methods of building up the values, or building up a value-based character, or virtuous character. What are those 5 methods to build up or to develop our virtuous character? They are all 5. First one is educating one's own intellect. Viveka. Educating one's own intellect. Educating one's own intellect means what? Convincing my intellect these values are highly significant in my life. Educating my intellect means these values are highly significant in my life. They play an important role, therefore I have to follow them. That is called intellectually educating my mind, convincing my intellect. These values are highly important. This is called educating the mind or intellect. If I give that much importance to those values, I am ready to sacrifice anything in my life to implement the values. If my intellect is convinced, these values are very important, I am ready to sacrifice anything in my life for the sake of values. I never compromise. I will never compromise to dilute the values, because I know their importance. I know their significance. I know their role in my life. I know how they help me to grow in my life. Just like when they are constructing a building, every brick they arrange. Every brick they arrange, and you can see a nice palace, arranged bricks. Before arranging the bricks, what they do, they soak the brick in the water. They make that bricks wet and they arrange. Similarly, every value is like a brick. Every values, if you follow, you are arranging the bricks to your life building. Beautiful building is going to come. You are all very much experts in your own construction of your own house. How much pain you take to construct your own house. Again you go and see where to arrange this shelf, almirah, where puja graham, what are all things, where to keep dressing room, arrangements, how you see. Similarly, what about life building? Life building we never plan. So you have to soak every value into the scriptures. The scriptural values, every value, this is called educating through scriptural study. That's educating my intellect. How can I educate? If I study Shastra, education means if I study Shastra water, I have to soak this value brick and take out. Then that value is a value I can never compromise in my life. So that is called firmness in following values. When I soak, picturize that you have to picturize that. Every brick you have to soak in the water, madre. Every value I have to soak in the scriptures. I have to take out of scriptures. What scriptural? Scriptural intention, that we have to see that. If you follow these values, what you are going to get? Higher benefit. Therefore, that awareness is very, very important. Otherwise, at any moment, any situation can come and shake us, whether how far you are following values, anything, any value for that matter. Not hurting others, not telling lies, not not developing aversion. So many values, not one or two, number of values. So therefore, this implementation of values is possible only when my intellect is convinced. Even children also, not by parents' pressure, not by any external pressure, children will continue lifelong the values. Children can continue the values more than parents, more peer pressure they call. Peer pressure. Peer pressure means their friends, colleagues, not parents. So, children are very much influenced by their peer pressure than parents. If they know the significance of the values and that peer pressure will not overpower them. So, the values we have to imbibe in children only by educating them into values, how much they are important. This is the only way. Not by saying verbally, not by showing some pictures, not like that. We have to educate them how much important this value. If you don't follow, what are all the disadvantages you are going to get? What is you are going to get? A great loss. Not ordinary loss, great loss you are going to get. We have to educate them. That's why we have to focus them into Shastra at early age. 16th chapter, they have to assimilate. Appade karachi kudikkanum. And the 16th chapter, 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. All youngsters. That is called educating the intellect. After 50, 60 years, very difficult to convince our intellect. Chinna vayasliye you have to develop. That's why we should not think Bhagavad Gita is only for old people. After finishing household duties, after retirement, let us go and read Bhagavad Gita. This is the most unhealthy thought. It is not good. Youngsters have to be, even I say pressurize. Pressurize. Nothing wrong. Healthy pressure this is. How much pressure they are undergoing for education? This is a healthy pressure. You have to tell that youngsters, healthy pressurize is a good pressure only. Healthy pressure. You have to study Shastra. 16th and 17th chapter, compulsory. So, this is called educating one's own intellect. Then only we can develop positive thoughts. Negative thoughts, evil thoughts, and negative emotions, evil emotions can be nullified by educating my intellect towards the positive, right thoughts and emotions. It's a very gradual process. We have to focus our mind, we have to be aware of it and vigilant also. Now, next one is Sankalpaha. Second method is Sankalpaha. I have to make an auto-suggestion to build up these positive virtues. Sankalpa. If I don't follow these values, disharmony will take place in my life. If I say lies, telling lies, they have a monitor to test that what happens to the whole personality when person is telling a lies. And the mission test pannuma. There is a lot of change in heartbeat. There is a lot of change in your cells in the body. There are a lot of repercussions. Even eye batting also there are a lot of changes. Because there is a pain, there is a strain when you are telling lies. Not only lies, any value, because your inner conscience that knows when you are violating the value, your inner conscience is that which shows the repercussions. That repercussions are very, very subtle level they take place. At sukshma level they take place. But a very Ashtanga yogi, a yoga practitioner can observe all these things. Not ordinary gross-minded people cannot observe. Very subtle-minded person alone can grasp this, what all our repercussions are taking place. How much strain I am undergoing. Subtle strain is there. Disharmony is there. Not only that, if I have this strain or repercussions, even social interactions also cannot be healthy. Any value if I violate, I cannot have a social interaction, healthy interactions. Because there is some guilt inside. Because of violating values. Hurting others, telling lies, cheating others. In so many ways a person disturbs others. Therefore, that sankalpa should be there. No, I should not violate this value. This sankalpa should be there because there is a disharmony, strain in my personality. I cannot withstand this strain. I don't want to face the guilt. Suppose if anybody does harm to me, if I develop aversion towards that person, I am only going to lose my health. Because I am not able to forgive that person. Suppose a person behave in a wrong way with me by talking or some way or other. If I develop aversion, who is the loser? I am only the loser. Therefore, what I have to do? Let me follow the forgiveness. Develop forgiveness. Kshama. This is called sankalpa. I have to take auto-suggestion. This sankalpa I do. I forgive that person. Whatever the behavior that person, through that he has done harm to me, doesn't matter. Past is past. Let me not develop any grudge about that person, towards that person. Let me forgive. See, sankalpa. Like that, every value, when I am looking at it, I have to make sankalpa. If sankalpa is not there, auto-suggestion is not there, casually I develop all negative emotions and my mind is full of unhealthy emotions. With guilt and hurt and all. So therefore, this is called sankalpa. Forgiveness. This is example I am giving. Next method, third method to build virtuous character is pratipaksha bhavana. Deliberately entertaining counter positive thoughts. Pratipaksha bhavana means deliberately entertaining the counter positive thoughts is called pratipaksha bhavana. So neutralization method. This is called a neutralization method. For example, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, 6 Arishad Vargas are there. They're all enemies. They're all Asurik Sampat. I am a spiritual seeker. I want a healthy life. Therefore, I have to see their opposite. What is the opposite? Kama. Kama means desire. Illegitimate, immoderate desire, suppose it is there. Discontentment, too much discontentment. Opposite is trupti, santosha, contentment. I have to develop. Pratipaksha bhavana. Counter positive emotion for binding desires. Trupti, santosha, contentment, satisfaction. Number 2, krodha. Krodha is a negative emotion. That krodha is not good for me, showing anger, short-temperedness. Therefore, I have to develop what? Kshama. Patience. Kshama. Patience. Then kama, krodha. Lobha. Greediness. If lobha is the negative, what is the positive I have to develop? Lobha ki opposite, dhanam. Greediness is not good. Let me do dhanam. Charity. Opposite. Then 4th one, moha. We can take it as matsariyam, jealousy. Because of delusion, there is lot of jealousy, matsariyam. Matsariyam opposite is stuti. If I have a jealousy mind, jealous mind, then I have to develop appreciation, counter positive emotion. Stuti, appreciation, appreciating others' qualities. Then 6th one is madam. Kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada. Mada means arrogance. It is also a negative, unhealthy emotion. Mada. Vinayam is the counter opposite pratipaksha bhavana. Lord Rama teach all these to Lakshmana. Develop pratipaksha bhavana because short-tempered Lakshmana. Very, very short-tempered. Therefore, Rama used to teach Lakshmana like this. Mada means arrogance. Opposite is what? Vinayam. Have a vinayam. Humility. So this is called pratipaksha bhavana. Third method to build up a virtuous character. Then 4th one is satsanga. Satsanga, association with. Sangha means association. With whom? Sat, noble people. With noble people I have to associate. Satsanga. Because any company of people, association of people will have a lot of impact on our life. It influences our life. Therefore, Narada says in his Narada Bhakti Sutras, Dussangaha sarvada tyajyaha. Dussangaha sarvada tyajyaha. Bad company, bad people's association, give up all the time. Once in a while, Swamini, office people, people are telling, we are in group, we are in the office, we go to the clubs and all. So what? You need not compromise with your values. I don't want to touch drink. I should not touch. No smoking, no liquor, nothing. No, what about group? Let them group want to, let them do. But I will not compromise. The company association is very, very powerful. That's why have a Mahatma's company, noble people's association. That's Narada says, even that imaginary, Sangha, not even directly you need not have. Even imaginary Sangha also, it affects. Because imagination, it also will have a more power. Now this Harry Potter, that really imagination only whole story. How much it has an impact on our youngsters' mind, Harry Potter. And that that character, is it going to die or not to die? All these children, they wrote a letter to that author. That boy should not die, He should not die. And letters are going. In an imaginary character. Harry Potter is recent. Even when we were very young, when we were studying these serials and all, what this author is going to do about this hero. He should turn the hero character like this. He should not face these problems. Like this, they imagine. And recently I heard one hero in the cinemas, I don't want to tell the name, that hero, generally when they are fighting, the villain also sometimes hit the hero, These fans of that hero, they say, the villain should not hit our hero. Because they worship that hero that much. He should not fall. He should not get hurt. By whom? By that villain. And they say to the director, if you take such a type of scene, we will not see that movie. Imagine. They take that character as a model and they want to follow. That is called Sangha, association. How much influence mind has got? If my mind keeps Sangha with good people, noble people who are all following these values, how much impact comes? Imagine. That's why we have to see always with whom we are moving. What type of mind people we are moving is very, very important. Because it changes our personality. When we are choosing your neighbors, friends, you have to be very careful. This is called satsanga. Next, even reading good books also. Some 16th century, 17th century, 18th century, then person has written some a nice book. Nice, there are quotes are there, good quotable quotes. And we read and we change our mind. It's some long ago that person has written, but that influence fall on our mind. Even writings of great people, association directly with them, even their photos influence. Satsanga. To develop virtues, satsanga is very, very important. Last and final one is prarthana. Prayer is one of the fifth method to develop or to build up our virtuous character. Again, this virtuous character for what sake? For my physical health, mental health. Without physical health, mental health, intellectual health is not possible. Without intellectual health, you cannot assimilate Shastra. Without assimilating Shastra, you cannot claim Aham Brahmasmi. See where the connection. So physical health is also possible. Prarthana. We are charging our mind by prayers. Like you recharge your batteries. Batteries, as long as you are using, and they are working, and after some time battery lose their charge. Weaker and weaker. So what to do? Again you recharge. Similarly, prayer is like a recharging your mind. Apyayantu mamangani vak chakshu shrotra madhobalam indriyani cha sarvani vak pani pada chakshu indriyani sarvani cha maham brahma nirakarot. All these values in our prayers, bhadram karnebhi, all those prayers, sahanavavatu, all these prayers, shanti patas are all nothing but values. They are all prayers to develop values. We are asking the Lord, we are seeking the grace of the Lord. Oh Bhagavan, help me to develop values, virtues. When these 5 methods are over, for what? To build up our character with full of virtues which are going to help us in spiritual pursuit. Highly highly significant. That's why Panushyanam Sahasreshu Bhagavan said, even amongst thousands of people, even they study Shastra, why they are not able to get this knowledge? Jnana Nishtha, why they are not getting? Because they are not having values. Adudha. Chumma Shastram padiche, onnum prayojanam illai. Priyarda, adhikda ivada neram. Half an hour I took. Previous class also I said, this class also I am repeating. Repeatedly, even 13th chapter Bhagavan says, 14th chapter Bhagavan says, again and again. That's why we can call it Bhagavad Gita as a Dharma Shastra also. Yoga Shastra means what? Dharma Shastra. Yoga Shastre Brahma Vidyayam. So without Dharma, there is no Brahma. So Adhato Dharma Jignasa, Jaimini says first. Purva bhaga of Veda full of dharmam. Then after that, Dharma Shastra, once you come to, dharma is fully, you are equipped with dharmic values, virtues, then you are fit enough, totally fit enough to get what? Brahma Jnanam, Brahma Vidya. Okay, now let us come to this 18th chapter, concluding chapter. Some important points I would like to highlight about this 18th chapter. Upakrama Upasamhara. This is Upasamhara Adhyaya, concluding portion of Bhagavad Gita. This itself is a great achievement, coming to up to 18th chapter. We have started 8 years back. 8, more than that, I think. 8 years, 10 years back. We have come to 18th chapter now. Of course, we are parallelly studying Upanishad also. Otherwise, 6 years enough to complete Bhagavad Gita. So, Upasamhara Adhyaya etat. This Adhyayam. That means, what is Upakrama Adhyaya? What is Upakrama? What is Upasamhara? Upakrama means summary, beginning summary. Summary of that beginning portion is called Upakrama. Upasamhara means the summary of the end portion. Summary in the end is called Upasamhara. Summary in the beginning is called Upakrama. Summary means Samkshepaha in Sanskrit. Upakrama Samkshepaha. Summary in the beginning. Upasamhara Samkshepaha, again summary in the end. So summary in the beginning, where we saw which chapter? Second chapter. Second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Sankhya Yoga, is the summary chapter of the whole entire Gita. Again, 18th chapter is the summary of the entire Gita, summary, the end summary. Upasamhara Samkshepaha. This method is called Mimamsa method. Mimamsa method. What about in the middle? First chapter, third chapter, fifth chapter to 17th chapter, Vistaraha, expansion. Expansion of second chapter. 72 slokas are there in second chapter. And 78 slokas are there in 18th chapter. The biggest chapter in Bhagavad Gita is 78th chapter, because summary. So the whole thing, whatever we have done, Vistara, expansion in the middle, is Lord Krishna is going to summarize in the 18th chapter. That means you are studying whole Gita again in this 18th chapter. So we should not miss even single class, because you are studying whole Bhagavad Gita in this 18th chapter. Very, very beautiful chapter. Gita Sara again Bhagavan presents. Now, this chapter begins with Arjuna's question. This chapter begins with Arjuna's question. Arjuna Prashnaha, based on the previous chapters. Anuvada Prashna, Anuprashna. Now we enter into the 18th chapter, first shloka we will read. अथ अष्टादशोऽध्यायः अर्जुन उवाच सन्न्यासस्य महाबाहो तत्त्वमिच्छामि वेदितुम् त्यागस्य च हृषीकेश पृथक् केशिनिषूदन. The doubt or samshaya arise when there is no conviction in our understanding. Doubt arise or samshaya arise. Why? Whatever I know, whatever I have understood, I have not yet convinced. I have understood, but I am not convinced. My intellect is not accepting that what I have understood. So still there are some doubts. Then what understanding is that? Samshaya jnanam. Samshaya sahita jnanam. Jnanam da. I have understood. Jnanam is there. ನಾನು ಎಪ್ಪಡಿಪಟ್ಟ ಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನು ಸಂಶಯ ಸಹಿತ ಜ್ಞಾನಂ. ಡೌಟ್, ದ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ವಿತ್ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಲಿಸನಿಂಗ್ 17 chapters, in spite of so much of teaching, Arjuna still is having doubt. Sandeha. As long as doubt is there, the knowledge cannot be assimilated. Any knowledge for that matter, including Atma Jnanam also like that only. Therefore, the Sandeha Nivritti is very important. The doubt must be clarified. The doubt must be cleared first. Then only next step will enter inside. That's why I ask in the class, when you have some doubts, don't think about that doubt only repeatedly. Keep that doubt aside and you can ask the teacher later. You can ask happily. But don't continue that doubt when you are listening in the class immediately. Just keep that doubt aside. Let me clarify later that doubt so that I can receive the teaching slowly. Then when the time permits, I can ask the teacher. I can have a dialogue with my teacher. That is called samvada. Dialogue form is that method of teaching, samvada. All our scriptures, mostly even Puranas, Upanishads, whole teaching is in the form of dialogue. It's not monologue. Monologue theriyumo? It's monologue won't work. Dialogue alone works. That's why Arjuna Krishna Samvada, Krishna Arjuna Samvada, Nachiketa Yama Samvada. So Buddha Shvetaketu Uddalaka Samvada, Yajnavalkya Janaka Samvada. You take Rama Lakshmana Samvada. That Samvada is very important. Dialogue between the teacher and the student is very, very important. Then only all doubts will be cleared. We have to ask boldly doubts. Doubt varadu Swami anna. Doubt, if we listen properly for a length of time, doubts bound to come. Doubts bound to come. And we have to clearly note those doubts and we have to ask in a proper place, proper time. We have to ask. When the teacher is available, we have to ask. So a teacher is available. Who is a good teacher? That good teacher is one who is available to clarify the doubts of the student. அதனால கன்சிஸ்டன்ட் சிஸ்டமேட்டிக் ஸ்டடி ஆஃப் ஸ்கிரிப்சர்ஸ் இருந்தாதான் the teacher is available, then I can clarify my doubts. Even Bhagavan is an avatara. So Lord Krishna is avatara. Arjuna can say, why I have to get doubts? Bhagavan is avatara, no? He can say to his intellect, oh, intellect, don't ask any questions and all. Don't have doubts because he is a Bhagavan. Intellect says, so what? If he is Bhagavan, I am not able to convince with this. Intellect is so honest. Intellect is so honest. It says, my dear, even though Bhagavan is in front of you, I want clarity. So that's why no hesitation to Arjuna even to ask Bhagavan. In spite of knowing, seeing Vishwarupa, Arjuna knows he is Bhagavan, is an avatara. But Arjuna's that bug in the mind, no? Intellect, there is a bug, doubt is there. So he has to get clarified. The doubt has to be clarified. And therefore, understanding is very, very important. Doubtless understanding is most important. Therefore, there is a difference between belief and knowledge. In belief, I can ask you, all of you, believe. In belief, in faith, there is no question of doubt. Because there is no question of knowledge. Therefore, there is no question of doubt also. In belief. Yen. Avladha. Belief lo, faith lo, sandeham kadiyadu, jnanam kadiyadu. Engenge jnanam vishayam varum, angenge da sandeham varum. Adnala belief vishayathila sandeham varadu. Atma jnanam is not a belief. Is it not? Atma jnanam is a knowledge. It is a knowledge, understanding. With regard to understanding, doubts will arise. With regard to faith, doubts will never arise. There is no question of doubts. So Shastra study, scriptural study is not a belief, but it is an understanding. I am discovering my real nature through understanding. Understanding takes place in the intellect. So my intellect has to be convinced thoroughly. Even after 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, I will ask doubts. Doesn't matter. As long as I am convinced, I have to ask my teacher. This is the first point we have to note. Teacher must allow the student to ask the questions. And student also boldly, எப்படிப்பட்ட கோர்ஸ்னாலும் பரவாயில்ல, பட் ஆனால் சப்ஜெக்ட் சம்பந்தமானது கேட்கணும். ஓகே, ஏதோ சொல்லி ஏதோ கேட்கக்கூடாது. சப்ஜெக்ட் ரிலேட்டட். ஸோ ரிலிஜியன், காட், செல்ஃப், வேர்ல்ட், ஹோல் திங், பஞ்சபூதாஸ், மைண்ட், intellect, all about this thing, what are all points are coming, connected to those points, you can ask umpteen questions. Yesterday one lady is asking me, see, why Lord is having wife? Bhagavan also having wife. Why he is having wife? What is the necessity of a wife to that Bhagavan? She is asking question. She is attending my classes. She is a teacher also. Imagine. Such a teacher, என்னதான் சொல்லி கொடுக்குறான் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்க்கு புரியல. Why Bhagavan is a wife is required for Bhagavan? அவர் கூட ஆர்டினரி பர்சன் தானே கேட்குறேன். And she looking at the other religion. கம்பேரிட்டிவ் அண்ட் கான்ட்ராஸ்ட் ஸ்டடி மாதிரி. அந்த பகவானுக்கு ஒய்ஃப் கிடையாது. ஓகே, அண்ட் ஹீ இஸ் நாட் பார்ன் டு பேரண்ட்ஸ். பாருங்க எப்படி இருக்கு பாருங்க. அந்த பகவான் அந்த ரிலிஜன்ல இஸ் நாட் பார்ன் டு பேரண்ட்ஸ். ஃபாதர்லெஸ் சன். புரியுறதோ? ஃபாதர்லெஸ் சன். அது எப்படி, ஹவ் இஸ் திஸ் பாய் பார்ன்னா, இட்ஸ் பகவான்ஸ் கிரேஸ். எகெயின் பாருங்க, that lady was blessed by the Bhagavan. That's why this boy is born. Therefore they are worshipping what? Bhagavan's son they are worshipping. Who is born? Who was born without father. Therefore I worship that Lord, she says. What to do? How to convince that person? Then I asked, who blessed her? They say, Swamini, Bhagavan only blessed. That means what? Bhagavan blessed means this boy whom they are worshipping is son. Son is superior, father is superior. Father is superior. We are worshipping Father, not Son. We are worshipping the Father who blessed that boy to born. புரியலைன்னா வீட்டுக்கு போய் யோசிச்சுங்க. I don't want to tell all these things in the class. புரியலைன்னா you can ask me personally, I will tell you. You have to ask. இதுக்குள்ள சுவாமினை கேட்கணும், இது கூட புரியலையான்னு சுவாமினை கிண்டல்னு பண்ண மாட்டேன். ஓகே, இஃப் யூ ஆஸ்க் எனி கொஸ்டின், எனி பிளெஸ்ஸட் கொஸ்டின், ஐ am ready to answer. Okay, I am very happy to answer any question. So we should not keep those doubts in our mind. So like that, we should not have doubts on our own religion. Why so many gods, Swami? So many names. Which God I have to worship? That's why I asked, come to Bhagavad Gita class. Hama Swami, class is so nice. But why you are having all these doubts still? Study thoroughly. Why so many gods? Why Bhagavan is having wife? Not studying thoroughly Shastra and scriptures and just saying that religion is good, that religion's practices are good. How do you know this religion is not good? You have not done thorough study of this religion. Without studying, how can you come to that conclusion? This is wrong or right? Wrong. You should not come like that. That means tomorrow that religion also you cannot understand. This religion also you cannot understand. Both the ways, you are the loser. Even educated people. I am not talking illiterate people. Illiterate people, no problem. Because illiterate people, they say, Bhagavan ella edathila irukkaran solliduvanga. They worship God and they stick to their Lord. Even these literate people only having this dilemma. அரைக்குறை படித்தான்னா ப்ராப்ளம், படிக்கவே இல்லைன்னா ப்ராப்ளம் இல்லை, நல்லா படிச்சுட்டான்னா ப்ராப்ளம் கிடையாது, அரைக்குறை படித்தாதான் ப்ராப்ளமே என்ன. அது மாதிரி Arjuna is having the dilemma question, is asking about sannyasa. The question regarding sannyasa. There are 4 types of ashramas. Brahmacharya ashrama, Grihastha ashrama, Vanaprastha ashrama, Sannyasa ashrama. 4 types of, 4 lifestyles. 4 types of lifestyles. Bachelor lifestyle, Brahmacharya ashrama. Adhyayana ashramam. In which ashrama one should study the scriptures or any study take place in first 25 years, Brahmacharya ashrama. 25 to 50, Grihastha ashrama. In Brahmacharya ashrama, he has to study about karma, anushtanam, dharma shastra, everything. And in Grihastha ashrama, anushtanam, he has to implement this dharma shastra, karma anushtanam, householder lifestyle. Then comes the 3rd ashrama lifestyle is Vanaprastha ashrama, in which person withdraw from external world and do upasana, meditative lifestyle, withdrawal lifestyle. He withdraw from the external activities, interactions, and doing a contemplation, meditation. That is called upasana pradhana or upasana yoga. Brahmacharya ashrama adhyayana pradhana yogam. It's also yogam, adhyayanam. And Grihastha ashrama is karma pradhana lifestyle, therefore karma yoga. Vanaprastha ashrama upasana pradhanam, therefore it is called upasana yoga. Upasana yoga pradhana lifestyle. 50 years above. 25 to 50, Grihastha ashrama. 50 to 75, Vanaprastha ashrama. Then comes the final ashrama, Sannyasa ashrama, total withdrawal. Total withdrawal from the external world, nivritti, for the pursuit of knowledge, jnana yoga. The one who take that pursuit of self-knowledge to study scriptures alone is the primary job, jnana yoga. So karma yoga, upasana yoga, jnana yoga, and first is that studies whole thing comes 4 ashramas, nicely designed, totally 25 plus 25 plus 25 plus 25. Each ashrama has got 25 years. அப்படி இப்படி முன்னாடி பின்னாடி இருக்கலாம், அப்படியே கரெக்டாக சொல்லலை. ஈவன் யூ கேன் என்டர் இன்டு சன்னியாச ஆசிரமா ஆஃப்டர் பிரம்மச்சரியா, அப்படி எல்லாம் அரேஞ்ச்மெண்ட் இருக்கு. அது என்ன, ஐ எம் கோயிங் டு டாக். லார்ட் கிருஷ்ணா இஸ் கோயிங் டு பிரசன்ட் தட் ஓன்லி நவ். ஸோ நவ் 3 possibilities in these lifestyles, 3 possibilities. The discussion is about sannyasa ashrama. Lord Krishna says in the 5th chapter, 1st shloka, sanyasam karmanam krishna punaryogam cha shamsasi yachreya etayorekam tanme bruhi sunischitam. Lord Krishna highlighting the Jnana Yoga, Sannyasa Ashrama, Sankhya Yoga, and Lord Krishna asking Arjuna to be in Grihastha Ashrama and doing Karma Yoga. That's why Arjuna get doubt. You are praising Jnana Yoga, that is Sankhya, and asking me to be in Grihastha Ashrama, Karma Yoga. Now tell me which one is the best one. There Arjuna asked in 5th chapter, Lord Krishna answered. Again Arjuna asking here. 5th chapter inge, 18th chapter inge na, enna artham? Arjuna is waiting for sannyasa. Arjuna is waiting for sannyasa. I want to take sannyasa. If Lord Krishna says sannyasa is the best, Arjuna, you take sannyasa ashramana, he can escape from this battlefield. அது வச்சுன்னு மனசுல இன்னும் ஏதாவது லாஸ்ட் ட்ரையல் பண்ணலாம். இன்னொரு வாட்டி இவ்வளவு சொன்னாலும் கூட அர்ஜுனருக்கு ஏதாவது லாஸ்ட் ட்ரையல் ஏதாவது பண்ணி பார்க்கலாமான்னு சொல்லி இஸ் ஆஸ்கிங் அகெயின் சந்நியாசம் பற்றி. Again Lord Krishna mentioned in the 5th chapter 6th shloka, evam sankyam cha yogam cha. So sannyasam is very difficult, Arjuna. For all people it is not possible. Preparedness is required and Bhagavan அங்கேயே சொல்லிட்டார். Still Arjuna is asking. Anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karotiyah naniragnihi nachakriyaha sa na sannyasi. Real sannyasi is the one who renounced the results of those actions, not the one who renounced the dress. Wearing kashayam, this is called external sannyasa, conventional sannyasa, ashrama sannyasa. There are 2 types of sannyasas, antara sannyasa and bahya sannyasa. In spite of Lord Krishna's explanation again and again, still Arjuna is having doubt. Therefore there is a necessity of clarification. Lord Krishna is going to elaborately explain about the sannyasa. What are those 3 possibilities? Antara sannyasa means internal renunciation without external sannyasa. Without changing that into saffron clothes, ashrama sannyasam illamale, without bahya sannyasa, a person can live like a sannyasi. It is called antara sannyasa, internal renunciation. This is the first possibility, number 1. Antara sannyasa means internal renunciation, not external. Number 2, second possibility is internal sannyasa as well as external sannyasa. External sannyasa he has taken or she has taken, and internally also totally detached. Internal antara sannyasa also is there. External sannyasa also person has taken. Bahya sannyasa. So antara sannyasa plus bahya sannyasa. This is the second possibility. First possibility is what? Antara sannyasa without bahya sannyasa is okay. Second possibility is what? Antara sannyasa plus bahya sannyasa is also okay. Third possibility is bahya sannyasa without antara sannyasa. That means what? I detach externally, what? All relations, people and all. I come out of the family, I go to an ashrama and take this sannyasa ashrama, but internally my mind is not detached, but I go on thinking about the world, people, relations, everything. There is no sannyasa internally. Internal detachment is not there. External detachment alone is there. Internal attachment, external detachment, problem. That is not okay. Third possibility is not okay. Okay, Lord Krishna is going to highlight Antara Sannyasa. Bahya Sannyasa, there is an option, not compulsory. There is an option in Bahya Sannyasa, Arjuna. Antara Sannyasa is important. Velila Sannyasam vaangatiga illiyana adilla. You need not go away from your house. You need not renounce your duties. Be in the family. Wherever you are, there you remain. Which place, in which ashrama you are, there you remain. Still you can live a sannyasi life. That is called Antara Sannyasa. That is the best ashrama, best grihasthashrama sannyasiya irkalam. Why? 4 reasons we have to see those reasons. First reason is, it is not compulsory. Lord Krishna is giving 4 reasons. 3 possibilities I said, now 4 reasons I am giving. External sannyasa is not compulsory, reason number 1. So in grihasthashrama itself you can continue Antara Sannyasa. Number 2, second reason is, there are risks in ashrama sannyasa. There are risks. There are so many pains you have to undergo when you take ashrama sannyasa. Risk is involved. There are risks involved in ashrama sannyasa, number 2. Number 3, sannyasa ashrama is one-way traffic. Sannyasa ashrama is one-way traffic. You cannot come back. This is one-way traffic. Then 4th reason is, Arjuna is not ready for ashrama sannyasa. Arjuna is not ready for ashrama sannyasa. Bahya sannyasa ke Arjuna is not ready. Because his mind is having attachment towards Drona, Bhishma. Internal attachment, external detachment he wants. It is not okay. Internal detachment irundada, external detachment also okay. Arjuna, you have got lot of internal attachment. Therefore, Lord Krishna prescribe what? Antara Sannyasa. And 5th reason is secret. இங்கே சொல்லக்கூடாது, ஏன்னா பகவான் எங்கேயும் சொல்ல மாட்டார். என்னென்ன சீக்ரெட்னா, ஃபஸ்ட்டு பகவான் ஹேஸ் நோ ரைட் டு டாக் அபவுட் சந்நியாசா, பாஹ்ய சந்நியாசா. லார்ட் கிருஷ்ணா cannot publicly talk about பாஹ்ய சந்நியாசா. வை? அவர் மகா கிரகஸ்தா. கிரகஸ்தனா இருந்து சந்நியாச ஆசிரமம் பற்றி ரொம்ப ஜாஸ்தியாக பேசக்கூடாது. அதனால பகவத்கீதா இஸ் டீச்சிங் ஃபார் ஆல் கிரகஸ்தாஸ். Disciple is grihastha. Guru is also Mahagrihastha. 16,000 wives are there. Therefore, Lord Krishna is going to highlight Antara Sannyasa. So you all can be happily in Grihastha Ashrama and enjoy the teaching, get Antara Sannyasa and get knowledge. More in the next class. Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.